Hey
Welcome.
guys,
Hi.
welcome to the Artificial Fun podcast. I don't know very how.
Harrison Ford's hosting our stream today.
This week our fun is artificial.
This week on Artificial Fun, our fun is totally artificial, and we have a few topics for you today. One of them is a medieval leak confirmed, which is a fake. Splatoon Global Test Fire doing great on pre-orders. I'll let you know. Nintendo's next successful original IP, I suspect.
Could it be?
Nintendo returns to profit. Sega is removing large chunks of mobile catalogs. There will be no booth at E3. Konami drops in value. And Capcom drops revenue by 37%. Yeah. CD Projekt accused of freezing out retailers.
Yeah.
Sounds very, very interesting. We'll get to that shortly. Bethesda showing an RPG title at E3. Who could have figured? And last but not least, D4 is coming out on PC. What's D4?
I will explain
it's just
later.
D4. It's called. It's not Doom 4 or anything. Diablo 4. It's
Yeah.
D4.
This thing with
D4.
4 Ds in the name.
It's just something I was personally interested in, and it will fill a hot
Cool.
minute. The reason
So-
you're asking that question is why I put that there, so everyone can know about D4. So,
Welcome to Artificial Fun, episode number 9. Let's get this show rolling.
okay, so going through the news in order. So one of the bigger sort of newses, is that a word, newses? This week that turned out to not quite be news after all, is a supposedly leaked PS4 tech demo of a sequel to Medieval, which is a sort of classic Sony-owned first-party franchise that had a few entries on the PlayStation 1. I don't believe it had any games on the PS2.
Medieval? No, it didn't.
I don't think it did.
Okay.
No.
But Sir Dan did get in the classic fighting game PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royal Witches, and yeah, that was the most relevant he's been lately. So everyone was very excited about Sony going back to their roots and actually making more first-party games with their own, licenses. But unfortunately, it seems that the demo itself was made by some group of people who deliberately released it to try and draw some attention to the franchise and encourage Sony that they're still interested in this, because even though it has been a dormant franchise for a while, it really got people talking a lot, and that's exactly what they set out to do. So, yeah, how do you guys feel about Sony actually revisiting their franchises? Because one thing this made me do the other day was go into the sort of roster for All-Stars Battle Royale and looking at all the characters they had that actually had games recently or games coming out soon, and it's not a very big list. I think it's pretty much Kratos and that's it. But, yeah.
I mean, like, there's no point in me getting involved with this conversation because there's like characters on here that I just want to see. Like, in particular,
I can't imagine.
Crash Bandicoot.
I knew this. I saw it coming.
And
I saw his
Spyro.
grinning Bandicoot face over the horizon.
Like, honestly, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little plaque or a little banner that every single time we talk about PlayStation and history, I'm just gonna have that over my face. Just
Warning, Crash Bandicoot
yeah,
incoming.
just literally just gonna be a Crash Bandicoot logo.
The thing is, technically, he's an Activision franchise,
Yeah,
but
I
I think
know.
if Sony bought, they brought Crash Bandicoot in some weird heist, and then put Naughty Dog back on it again, that would be pretty interesting. I think people would respond to that very happily, but it's never going to happen,
No,
is
it's
it?
never gonna happen.
You know, as long as Naughty Dog's
Spyro-
making a game, it'll be good.
Spyro would be cool to see if they could not make him look rubbish.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a very quick look at first-party Sony franchises. I'm pretty sure Wipeout was one.
Wipeout was one of them.
But that is unfortunately dead, and so is the developer.
Yeah.
I've got No, I'm just looking down. You've got Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, that was a PS2
That was-
one, and
that
it's
was- that
kind
was-
of dead,
Yep.
but
That was a pretty good game,
Pretty much.
though.
Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, shoot, there was
Oh, man.
one. There was a game I played on the PS2 that I.
I'm gonna get this wrong, aren't I? Because I think this is a Nintendo, all right, Rareware. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
yeah, that's
That's
rare.
it's Microsoft.
That's
Yeah.
now.
Nintendo.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Microsoft now.
Okay, well, Sony never really had anything because they did lots
Well,
of
they
third-party.
own quite a few. I've just got this list here, so I'll go, like they got Naughty Dog. Everyone knows about Naughty Dog,
Yeah.
but they're currently focusing on serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They got Sucker Punch, who mostly make
Are Naughty Dog doing like all their whatchamacallit, the
Last of Us,
Not Tomb Raider.
Uncharted,
Uncharted,
is what
that's
they're doing now. Yeah, so they pretty much said like, oh, we don't want to do those kiddie cartoony things anymore. We want to focus on real big stories with emotional impact and stuff. So probably not much Jack and Daxter anytime soon, unless it's going to have a big emotional impact on all of you. But so yeah, that's the
Jack.
thing.
Jack and Daxter might be the game I'm trying to think of. Hold on.
Jack and Daxter are awesome.
Got Ape Escape, which is dead.
Um,
Demon Souls, which is dead because it has become everything else. But they co-published
Yeah.
Bloodborne.
yeah,
Sony own EverQuest. Okay, well that's dead.
Was there a Jack and Daxter game that was in like a sort of that started out in like a really kind of futuristic, not futuristic, but they had like hover cars and crap.
Yeah, I think there was one where they went into the future. I never really played it, Jack and Daxter much, but
well, you should look up Jack and Daxter. Oh, I'll look it up now.
I'm trying to find. I'm trying to figure out what this game I used to play was, but I.
Well, actually, yeah, we completely have gone off topic.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
So, yeah.
How about that
Okay,
Splatoon?
just to let you
So-
guys
yeah,
know
so-
in the stream, I've got literally like, okay, I've got 30 minutes to be here, and then I've got to shoot because I've got a dinner to attend.
So it would be neat if Sony went back to some of their old franchises. So, yeah.
yeah, so Medieval League confirmed to be a fake. So now,
Surely.
but it would be cool to see, Sony to go back to their older stuff. Next thing, Splatoon Global Testfire is doing great on pre-orders, and could this be Nintendo's next successful original IP? Go.
Yep, so Splatoon had their Global Test Fire, which is their big fat stress test demo that only runs at certain times, and huge amounts of people piled in so much that the servers overloaded briefly when it opened up. And the consensus is everyone thinks it's really, really, really fun, strangely enough, and it actually had a really good effect on the sales because after the test fire demo, it's just going right up the charts. It's like the top 3 charts on Amazon Japan. It's in the top 10 to 20 in Europe, like UK, Spain. In the US, I think it's in the top 10. And basically, it looks like even though it's on the Wii U and the Wii U has, we know about the Wii U install base, it looks like it's going to do pretty well in sales for a new IP, and they're actually giving it the right amount of advertising to actually, make it a success, which is something Nintendo isn't always so great on, is actually pushing their new IPs so that they become hits on the same level as all their usual stuff.
I mean, like, this is what I've said like before, is that Splatoon looks like a really, really cool game. It's it's nice to see a shooter on Nintendo, but with Nintendo's take on it, which is like the whole. I know like a lot of people say it's kiddie and everything like that, but the biggest thing about it, and I think Chris mentioned this earlier, is that it's fun. It's like really fun gaming. Like it doesn't have to be serious to be entertaining. And like, but the only only issue I have with it is I think Chris, I've sort of spoken to Chris about this before, was that I don't like and let me know in the comment section if you're on YouTube or on Twitch, do you think it looks like a Nickelodeon game?
Oh, everyone knows that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it that bugs me.
Entirely
lot.
intentional, I suspect.
It looks like a Nickelodeon game. It just, I don't know, it just bugs me. I don't know, it just bugs me.
Doesn't really bug me.
It's deliberately trying to look like the 90s, like the colours are the 90s, the the clothes that they wear are from the 90s. The adverts are deliberately made to be like adverts from the 90s. Like the music is supposed to be like 90s Japanese hip hop music.
Usinator.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know, right?
Like, it's completely intentional, and a lot of people like that whole 90s
was
Nickelodeon.
Just cringy.
It
like-
varies.
No,
Your
but
mileage may vary.
But this is the problem. It's not like the 90s Nickelodeon. It's like the 2000s Nickelodeon. Because the 90s Nickelodeon was Rugrats. And the 90s, you know, a 90s Nickelodeon.
Now hold on,
was
hold
like-
on.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with 2000s Nickelodeon.
You.
The youngsters
The early
speaking
2000s
up.
were still pretty extreme, but yeah, Splatoon, like, you know, whatever. A lot of people like
You
the
young
style
old
of Splatoon.
whippersnappers.
It's not quite for everyone, but I think that even like as a single player game, it looks really interesting. How many sort of elements they've added into that, so it still looks like it might be worth playing, even if you aren't a big online shooter fan. And it's convinced a lot of people to pre-order, so hopefully it does really well.
Yeah, but just as a reminder, as a just as a statement of fact, you shouldn't pre-order your games in the future. You should just track them over KeepTrackr and then buy them after the fact.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the
Agreed.
best thing to do, objectively speaking.
But it does tend to save you money. So
Just wait. Well, I mean, wait until you can see gameplay,
Yeah.
and at least wait until you can see gameplay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I've seen has definitely convinced me to pick it up at some point.
I probably won't get it. I'll play it at like friends' houses and stuff. But
we have the law of diffusion of innovation on our side, so I think we're good.
yay.
Okay,
Everyone's seen the bell curve. Anyway,
so next topic.
next topic: Nintendo returns to profit.
No surprise there.
Sorts of other stuff about the industry in general. So this is sort of just a rundown. There's not too much to say. It's just kind of keeping everyone up to date on what's going on. So Nintendo has finally returned to profit after a few years of sort of treading water. And
Water's
obviously,
like-
what helped? Sorry.
Drowning.
Yeah, well, after a few years of drowning. But yeah, they've finally caught up with themselves, and what probably helped out with this a lot is all the Wii U releases like Smash Bros. Mario
making
Kart,
games.
bumping it up. Yeah, actually releasing video games. That was a really big boost for them. And also Amiibo, which really
Yes.
did
Those-
prove
yeah,
to be
they're
a big
huge
hit for them.
Yeah.
So much that they can't make enough to actually get everyone's money.
Well,
So
you think about it, like I know it sounds like I was talking to some people the other day. In fact, like some of the kids that I'm with on what do you call it at my Sunday school. Like I was talking to them the other day, and I was wearing my Gengar hoodie, and like I thought that a lot of these kids would be into what are they called?
Pokemon?
No, what's the other one that's really,
yeah,
really...
Ruby and Sapphire was also a big.
No. Forget about Pokemon.
Big seller.
What's the other NFC big thing? NFC chip thing that all
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it.
Skylanders, that's it.
There you go.
I thought like loads of people would be in Skylanders and all those
Video
Disney
games.
stuff, and you know.
Yeah.
But then like I was talking to some of the kids, and they all still watch Pokemon, and they're still all like buying into all that franchise and stuff, and like they're all buying the Amiibos. I was like, damn, that is awesome. Like having these kids who are like proper, they were born in 2009 or whatever, and they're still Pokemon is still going strong with them, and they're buying the Amiibos. So
Holy crap! If you're born in 09, you're 6.
yeah.
So Nintendo is.
I'm working with like the kids in Sunday school, so
I know, it's just that it seemed like 09 was that many years ago.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting
That's-
along now, Matt.
So yeah, Nintendo is doing very well for themselves. 3DS is still going reasonably strongly. It's tailing off a bit because not too many new releases just lately. After they sort of had their blowout at the beginning of this year, but we'll see where that goes. Yeah. So Sega, not doing so great. They are removing large chunks of their mobile catalogue, as according to them, we have done a review of our back catalogue and found that we want a minimum standard of quality that a lot of our titles are not currently meeting for us.
When are they gonna do that for their main console game?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
that's why they don't have any left. But
well, the thing is that's what they were saying though. They were saying that they're doing it for that specific reason.
Yeah. So Sega, they're, as everyone has sort of known, and as they've been announcing, they're moving away very deliberately from consoles. They've said that they're pretty much, doing a complete shift on that to have all of their sort of main focus be on mobile games. At the same time, they are culling large amounts of their mobile games off the Android and iOS stores.
I'm no expert, but that does not sound like a sound strategy.
The problem what most of these companies don't seem to understand is if you release one really, really well-made game, that can change the entire landscape for your company.
Yeah.
And they just don't. But the thing is that these companies just don't want to. They would rather invest in lots of small things, which are with less risk and less return, than invest in one big project with a huge, with potentially more risk. But the thing is that but with a huge return. But the thing is, they're Sega. They still have a name for themselves. I understand that they've done Sonic Boom and they've done Sonic 06 and they've done some really bad things recently. But if they made a really, really, really good Sonic game or a really good game from like the past or whatever, they could destroy it.
Yeah, we can't.
Strong.
Yeah, we can't dress it up. Sonic Boom was a huge disaster that didn't make the huge return that they normally expect from Sonic.
Yeah.
A disaster is putting it lightly.
Yeah, the TV show is doing well, but Sega's not in it for the TV money, so So yeah, Sega not doing so great. They're also, in totally unrelated news, I'm sure, do not have a booth at this year's E3, but they will be showing their titles in other people's booths and whatever when relevant. But they're not having the attendance this year, which is kind of similar to when Nintendo wasn't doing so well and just happened to be doing their own conference instead of having their own booth, because it is very expensive to run that.
They really.
It's usually a good sign that they're trying to pinch the pennies.
It also means that they may be being a little bit more cautious, which sometimes can be good, because it means that they're actually going to start thinking rather than just doing things because everyone else does it.
Yeah. So, speaking of other companies that are not doing well, Konami just happens to have their value dropping by a notable amount. I can't imagine why.
Is Konami Metal Gear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
they still own the franchise.
I know why as well.
Yeah. I mean, Konami are literally saying, screw the video games industry, we're going to go and do gambling instead. I mean,
so they have
their stock prices dropping.
Yeah, so they have delisted themselves from the New York Stock Exchange, I believe.
Yeah.
Or
have they really?
Yeah.
They have. They're completely pulling out of North America.
They are changing their trading.
Going into mobile and gambling.
So they're no longer a gaming company, really? Well, I mean, I guess they are still a gaming company.
Yeah, they still plan to make Silent Hill and Metal Gear games, but not with anyone who would
like to make them good.
Yeah. So, Konami.
I'm sad that Silent Hills is no longer a thing.
Yeah, this happened at the end of April. What was this?
What's the man's name?
Huh?
What's the guy's name? Kojima.
Yeah, Kojima.
Guillermo del Toro's Greasy Hearts.
Konami voluntarily delists itself from New York Stock Exchange. It's a cost-saving move, says the video games analysts, apparently.
The video games analysts.
So this is the third video game project, I think. The second or third video game project that Guillermo del Toro has tried to be involved in that has been cancelled. So the video game industry is trying to kill Guillermo del Toro, confirmed.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
He's trying to break his greasy heart. Konami not doing great either. And Capcom has had their revenue dropped by 37% this quarter because they also are not releasing a bunch of games. Yeah, they are not really making enough games.
Yeah.
Everyone is identifying their problem squarely as they are having entire quarters passing without releasing a new title, and even when they do, a lot of them are remakes or re-releases, ports, whatever.
Yeah.
HD updates.
Not very good, according to reviews and public reception. So
it feels like Capcom is going the way of THQ almost.
Yeah, Capcom had a very sort of low point in their overall value about a year or so back, and they're going to have to do some serious dipping into their franchises, because they're another example, just like sort of PlayStation All-Stars Royale or whatever, where if you go into the list of Capcom fighters in Marvel vs. Capcom, it's a very small list of franchises with characters that they are showing that are still relevant or, you know, still around or being made by them. They have a lot of history, but they're not taking advantage of it.
I mean, and they've even got IPs which are still really, really popular.
Yeah.
I know within niches, but they're still niches that they should be, really, really getting some games going. Like, I mean, with the whole Ace Attorney series,
they're making a new one. They're making
Phoenix Wright series and all that, and they are. I know they're making a new one, but it's like you're saying, they're just not being they're not being efficient enough.
No.
I know on the one hand we're saying some companies are making too many games too quickly, like Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, but then there's got to be something there.
Yeah, I mean, with them, it's not even that they're making new whatever games. There's only so many times they can re-release Street Fighter 4 left. I think the new PS4 update is the last one that they're doing this generation.
The Ultra one, isn't
before,
it?
Yeah.
What about Marvel vs.
Like,
Capcom 17?
Yeah, exactly. DLC and stuff. Monster Hunter did very well, but not enough to reverse their fortunes.
The problem
that was Capcom?
The problem they had with Monster Hunter was
one of their biggest franchises.
The problem they had with Monster Hunter was because they were asking people to buy that second pad, and people did not want to invest in having even more stuff to add on to the they should have realized this after the days of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, that people do not like having to add on pieces of material to their Game Boys. Like, the only thing that
buying peripherals for a game is always a bit of a tricky.
Unless it comes free with it, then nobody's gonna want to go out and buy it specifically for that game.
This is the only thing that I have found has helped my 3DS, is having a
shell
so that you can actually hold it and it's comfortable, while playing Smash Brothers and stuff. But otherwise,
I'm cool because I've got tiny baby hands, so I can use the original 3DS in all of its baby hand glory. But
it's alright like this, but controller handles would be good.
Anyway, let's get on to the next topic because we're going off topic again.
Capcom not doing great either. So a lot of major publishers not doing so great, except Activision, obviously, who will continue making money for the rest of time.
Nintendo are doing very, very well, and
so one piece of relatively big news this week is CD Projekt, and I've got the link over in the stream, over in the Slack, so someone can post that into the stream, so everyone can read up if they're interested. But basically,
just explain it, break it down for me.
Yeah, so one of the CD Projekt, so one of the only heroes left in man in the games industry, has been accused of freezing out retailers. Now, they're not a perfect company, but they're one of those companies that sort of gamers like to get behind because they still sort of claim to have some very, very, very traditional values when it comes to what they're trying to do in the gaming sphere. What they've been accused of is basically The Witcher 3, as we all know, is coming up as a major release for them. And Green Man Gaming, which is a third-party seller who is somewhat comparable to Steam in that, they're a major digital storefront for selling game keys.
They run GOG,
Yeah. They claim that GMG has acquired a bunch of Witcher keys that have not been officially vetted, wherever they got them from, which is quite common in 3D resellers. There's a lot of dodgy people who buy cheaper Steam keys from other regions and then they resell them at a profit on their website, but sometimes they're not, they can't be checked to make sure that they've been sourced properly and that they're not gaming the system, etc. And so there have been problems in the past with people buying these dodgy keys and then getting the games frozen because it turns out that someone, stole a credit card and bought 500 Steam keys to sell on whatever website.
Hang on. I'm getting really confused because I'm trying to read this first sentence and I keep on getting confused. It's saying the online retailer Green Man Gaming has accused CD Projekt of prioritizing the success of its own digital platform GOG over the demands of their audience. So wait, as in they are Green Man Gaming has accused.
Yeah. So to break down the problem.
So wait, they're angry that they're exclusive with themselves. What?
Yeah, the problem that they're trying to claim here is that CD Projekt has basically said that they're not going to, make official. They're not going to activate codes that are bought through Green Man Gaming, because they claim that Green Man Gaming has bought a bunch of codes that are not from them, as in have not been supplied directly by them with their knowledge, which means that CD Projekt would not be getting any of that money.
Sure.
Well, at the end of the article, it mentions the NVIDIA keys.
Yeah. So the problem that they're trying to say is that GOG and CD Projekt are trying to monopolize getting money on the keys and making sure that people they're always getting in a certain cut on it.
This is stupid. Like, I don't understand why the article, the news title here is that CD Projekt is trying to monopolize the industry when there are other places you can buy The Witcher 3 from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't buy it from Green Man Gaming, which I'm not a big fan of in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, no one really uses them. I mean, like...
And even if they did...
Well, actually, they're quite popular.
Well, but what I'm saying is that anybody who has a Green Man Gaming account will probably also have a Steam account. And probably
no, but you can buy it from Steam.
You buy Steam keys from Green Man Gaming to use on Steam. It's not a platform in the same way Steam is. It's more of a seller, online digital seller.
They just sell codes. But the thing is, though, what would be wrong if CD Projekt only wanted to sell it on their service?
Well,
EA does that.
Yeah,
Valve does that.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just literally people just blowing it out of the water.
That's what I don't understand.
If you want, it's like when there was the opposite happened in with Tesla. A few months ago, where Tesla was only allowed to sell their cars through other people's outlets. It was like, what? How
that's
is that
only
even
in certain
a rule?
states.
Yeah, only in certain states. But what I'm saying is that how is that even a rule? It's the same thing. It's like, if you have made your own product and you want to sell it in a certain place, then you can sell it in a certain place. You don't have to sell it in loads of other places because other people want you to, you know?
So the basic problem here is that CD Projekt are trying to make sure that they are tracking where all of their codes are coming from for The Witcher 3, so that they know that they're getting a certain amount of the profit on each one, no matter what store it's being sold from. But they cancelled recently their distribution sort of relationship with Green Man Gaming. Mm-hmm. And Green Man Gaming then went on to get a whole bunch of Witcher 3 keys. And CD Projekt said, we don't know where these keys came from or who you got them from. We don't know if we're getting any of the profit from these, so we are not going to
don't activate
these codes.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
That's completely fine.
Yeah.
That's totally shady.
Said we got it legitimately from retailers, and therefore the money has still gone to CD Projekt because we had to buy the codes from the retailers in the first place. And so there's a sort of element of a lack of communication between the companies.
Is that not a legal issue? Isn't that reselling?
It absolutely should be.
It should be.
Yeah, basically no one knows where anything's coming from, where anything's going, and everyone's being a bit catty at the moment.
Well, I'm not buying anything from Green Man Gaming.
That's the way that's the way they operate. Then I wouldn't either. I mean, that's really like back alley. I'm gonna buy something for you and then sell it to you afterwards.
Green Man. No, that's not exactly what they do. I mean, Green Man Gaming has had their ups and downs. They're one of the more officialized key sellers, as in they have had examples of like dodgy keys in the past, which they said haven't been their fault. There've been like problems in the supply line or whatever, but they are officially vetted by a number of sources. They have an official relationship with Namco Bandai.
None of that matters to me.
They used to have an official relationship with GOG, which until recently, which is part of the problem, is that they don't have enough of a business relationship with them at this point.
For anyone unaware, by the way, GOG is owned by CD Projekt Red. I should probably make that. We should probably make that clear.
Yeah, so they're trying to push their own platform, and they've just released the open beta for GOG Galaxy, which is their new Steam competitor client.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need more of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, GOG has a.
You could argue GOG has an actual niche going on.
Although
I like GOG.
Although
they got some awesome games on there that
I find it funny though that like GOG was originally called Good Old Gaming because it sold old games that people couldn't access from other places. But now they're like GOG Galaxy is like they're selling new games, and it's like I don't understand their name anymore.
Well, they deliberately named themselves GOG.
No, now they're GOG. So
yeah, GOG.
Yeah. GOG. Anyway, let's get back onto.
So so it's a bit of a lack of communication on all sides, but hopefully The Witcher 3 does well regardless of all this unwanted bad press.
There's a small company with a new indie title called The Witcher 3. We hope it does well. Because there's definitely not a massive hype train behind it or anything.
Well, I don't even want to play it. I mean,
really?
There's no guarantee it does do well, because compared to the sort of budgets and company sizes that go between Activision and CD Projekt, it still is a very...
it's going to do absolutely fine. It's going to do absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And then they'll make their next game, and their next game will be better, Cyberpunk 27.
Yeah, when the hell's that coming out?
Yeah,
2018.
So just a couple bits of shorter news to finish off with.
Yeah, so last two pieces.
Yeah, so Bethesda is having their conference before E3, and then they're showing their games during E3. And they have confirmed they'll be showing several games, including an RPG title.
Like most of the titles they make.
Elder Scrolls 7.
I'm really hoping. I'm really hoping that it's going to be another Elder Scrolls single player game.
Why? You're the only one.
Huh?
You're the only one that doesn't want this.
Huh?
You're the only one that doesn't want Fallout.
Oh, but the thing is, because I played a Fallout New Vegas, and I got a headache in like 3 seconds. So.
And then I reminded you that it has a third-person mode.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so ignore me.
Literally the same engine as Elder Scrolls.
I need to put it into third-person mode.
In fact, like there used to be a joke. There used to be a joke a while back. People just said,
"Shut up, Cameron." A little bit.
There was a joke a while back. People used to call it Oblivion with guns. So yeah.
Yeah.
They really. I mean, that's what it was.
It is.
It's the same like HUD. It's the same
gameplay.
Engine, it's the same modeling.
Bats.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just like one has a sci-fi skin and one has a fantasy skin, but. So yeah, it might just be Fallout 4 on the new Gamebryo engine or whatever they made Skyrim in that looked slightly less bad than the original Gamebryo.
Switch engines, you stupid company.
I think they have. I think they might have.
Gamebryo is so not good.
Gamebryo you can do good things with, like The Witcher 1 was...
Like tie the physics to the FPS. Yeah.
Oh god.
Great.
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
That's not good.
Yeah, like Gamebryo has been used for.
Oh, the RPGs.
Why can't they just use like something like Unreal or like Frostbite?
It's just what they work with. It's what they have experience.
I mean, the main issue, and I don't think this is exactly a big secret to anyone or particularly controversial statement. Bethesda are not very good programmers.
They're publishers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's a game.
They're not very good engine programmers.
There's like seven.
That's fine. From Software, From Software are not good programmers. Game Freak are not particularly good programmers.
But they use it to their advantage.
Games. Yeah.
They use it totally to their advantage.
Yeah.
Like everyone was begging for them to put back in the ragdoll physics after like they took it out of Dark Souls 2. Yeah, like it was literally such a big part of the game that they just wanted to put it back in.
Yeah. So sometimes a little bit of jankiness is the sacrifice that you make. And Skyrim didn't look as bad as like Oblivion and Fallout 3 in terms of potato people.
I don't think they look bad. And the thing is, you can mod them to where they look amazing.
But
the engine just feels clunky compared to other
animations, very wooden, all sorts of, and they can't support a lot of people in the engine at once without chugging. It could benefit from a little rigging up.
They could use a better engine, but at least if it comes out and it's crap, then the modding community's make it not crap.
Fix it, and and you might have to pay for your mods now, Bethesda.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so that could be a thing.
Yeah, and the last topic, because I got to go in 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is not a long one. So D4 is coming out on PC. D4 stands for Dark Dreams Don't Die, and that's a very good question. If you watched a trailer or any gameplay footage of this game, you would still be asking the same question, because it is a sweary game. and therefore is not actually inclined to make any kind of logical sense until you finish.
It's a sweary game.
Yeah, so Swery is one of those Japanese sort of developers who's on the same sort of.
They swear a lot.
Not quite. No, he's actually a very nice guy. But he's sort of on a similar level of Suda51 and Kojima in that he's one of the sort of well-known or semi-well-known Japanese sort of auteurs, you might say, who are sort of known for making very distinctive games that are very linked to them.
You're using words I don't understand. Sweary and auteur.
Distinctive.
Like
auteur?
What's an auteur?
Auteur is like a sort of a creative person, so like an artist or a director or something who has a very... Or an author, yeah, who has a very individual...
No, he's not saying touch. Author, he's saying auteur. He's using a word that not many people use in this world anymore.
People say auteur.
No, they don't.
Yeah, no one says that.
No one says that.
I'm watching Motocross, y'all go ahead.
What's sweary? What on earth is sweary?
He's a
Japanese game designer. It's the name of their company.
Oh, sweary is a game designer. I thought it was another word that you were using. I was just like, what? That's why I was saying, like, do they swear a lot or something? Like, what is sweary?
Sweary is a game designer who heads a...
You were saying because it's like it's a sweary type game, so I thought like...
It's a sweary made game.
Yeah, sweary made game, so I was like, sweary, is that
What is the game? What is the game? What is the game?
Yeah, tell us the game. Yeah.
Explain to me what the game is.
It's an episodic detective series with a psychedelic, dreamlike quality to the narrative events, aka it's very, very silly. If you've heard of sort of things like Twin Peaks or things like that, David Lynch, then you have an idea of what to expect in terms of the general thing. But it's a very weird, unusual thing.
Sounds pretty
to play through. It's one of those things that's sort of worth playing through just because it's so weird and experienced that it's...
What's the setting?
Okay, so there is a detective in Boston who is investigating the unsolved mystery of his wife's murder, and that's about the most uncomplicated the plot gets.
So does it play like a Telltale game or like
It plays a lot like a Telltale game. You wander around, you have conversation wheels with people, and you click around in the environment. It's that kind of thing, and it's also episodic, a lot like a Telltale game.
Okay.
But the narrative is. I've watched the first sort of season of it. It's a thing to behold. It's well worth checking out just for that sort of thing, and to support it as well because they want to. They had trouble on the Xbox One because it was an exclusive to that console previously, and they. As such an obscure title, it didn't make the waves he wanted it to. But now it's coming to Steam, it's sort of the perfect place for that, and it really has a chance to be successful and get a bit more known so that they can make more episodes. So it's
cool,
well worth supporting. And
plays like a Telltale game.
Yep.
Modern day detective story. Boston.
That's pretty good.
So D4 should be coming out on Steam. I will check very quickly on the 5th of June. So look out for that.
Cool. And I will I will be letting people know on our weekly update videos. Just a quick announcement before we end this, because obviously I need to shoot. I will be doing a weekly video, every week, that will basically take you guys through that will take you through the releases that will be coming in the next week. This week I'm going to be doing the video hopefully by tomorrow, but if I can't get it out by tomorrow, then I probably will just do a quick shoddy mock-up of a video and put it up there just so you guys know what games are coming out this week and then hopefully by next week I will have figured out how to do the intro video, the music. I'm going to get a background as well behind me, so hopefully we'll sort that sort of stuff out and we'll try and make this a little bit more professional. Another announcement is also that from next week onwards, the Artificial Fun live stream, when put on YouTube, will be put into segments, so you don't have to watch the whole hour and a half or however long it is every single time you watch it. You can just watch it in like 5-minute, 10-minute segments or whatever. So that'll be another thing that's going to be coming out, but that will be starting next week, which is the 17th, Sunday the 17th. So that's it. Thank you for joining us
You're
on
welcome.
this stream. I wasn't saying thank you to you, player 2.
Why not?
But thank you, Cameron. Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Matt, for coming here today. Hopefully, we'll get some guest speakers at some point to replace me or replace Chris at some point. Matt's brought out his new baby, his new Rickenbacker, so he can start cuddling that again. And cradling it. Yep. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next one. So just remember, obviously, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, leave a comment down below. You know the drill. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook. Come on to KeepTrackr.com for all of your video game discovery and release date needs. And just remember to subscribe to our Twitch. I think that's everything. So I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.